Miss Rochelle here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to tell the difference between Renaissance art and medieval European art. So we're going to see after learning if you can spot the difference. So medieval European art, we're looking at the time period from about 500 to 1400 AD or CE. We're thinking feudalism is existing, the separation of social classes, king at the top all the way down to serfs at the bottom. Catholic Church is controlling just about everything in people's lives. Where the Renaissance, we're thinking of this rebirth of Greek and Roman ideas. A little bit later in time, we're rediscovering things, we're wanting to bring back these classical things and start to make things more realistic, focusing less on the church. So some characteristics of medieval European art would be like sculptures, stained glass windows, tapestries, mosaics, different like stained glass windows, where Renaissance art is going to be more like just your sculptures, paintings, drawings, murals. We're getting really, really realistic during this time period. So we move on to the characteristics of medieval European art, and so subjects during this are going to be mostly religious. The figures are going to be looking flat, they're going to look stiff, they don't really look like they're moving very much, not realistically anyway. Important figures are large, everything else is kind of small. In the backgrounds are usually going to be more one color. They don't really have much emotion on their faces. They're very vibrant in color, but it's not in a realistic looking way. They're flat, two-dimensional. It doesn't look 3D really at all. Where on the other hand, we have Renaissance art. It could be religious, it could be non-religious, it doesn't really matter, versus medieval European art is mostly always going to be religious. But in the Renaissance, people look idealized, they look perfect, they're displayed in very, very realistic ways, even if it's not something that is realistic. The bodies may be nude, there's a lot of nudity going on in the Renaissance. They really love this ideal body. They thought that the body was this perfect thing and wanted to represent it during this time. They represented people doing real tasks in daily life. Facial expressions are what people are thinking. You can really see that emotion and things on people's faces. You can see shadows and things. We're starting to see an interest in nature and not just religion. The backgrounds have lots of detail. Everything is symmetrical and balanced. And now we're going to look at looking at some specific pieces of art, medieval versus Renaissance. Can you actually tell the difference now, knowing some of the characteristics of both? And so we're going to show you a picture. You're going to decide if you think that is going to be more Renaissance or medieval European, and see if you got it right. So the first one we're looking at is going to be a portrait. So I'll give you a second, see if you can figure it out. And this is going to be Renaissance. If you said Renaissance, that is correct. We can see this looks more realistic. There's shadows, there's things going on in the background. The next is going to be a fragment of a floor mosaic. So I'll give you a second here. And this is going to be medieval. So if you said medieval, you are right. So for one, it's a mosaic. That's one of the things that's very common during the medieval period. Number two, you can see this doesn't look realistic at all. The eyes are unproportional, and we don't see much realistic shadows going on. So the next is going to be some stained glass. And if you said that this was medieval, that is going to be correct. So this, again, just like the mosaics, is one of the more common types of art going on in medieval Europe. So if you said medieval, that is right. The next is going to be a piece by Caravaggio. So I'll give you a second here. And this is going to be Renaissance. If you said Renaissance, that is correct. So even though this is dark, a lot of people want to get this confused with medieval European art. This is actually going to be Renaissance because we can see the realistic nature of this. You would look at this and think it is just a picture that is taken of a family. It looks like it is something that could be truly happening. Next is going to be Medusa. So I'll give you a second. And a lot of people like to say that Medusa is medieval because she is really dark here, but if you we're paying attention to our Renaissance characteristics, we know this looks very realistic. It looks like this is actually her head, that this is not something that is flat and everything. We can even see that emotion on her face and the movement in the snakes on her head. So our next one is going to be Venus of Urbino, and so I'll give you a second here. This one should be pretty easy. And this is 110% going to be Renaissance, no questions about it. She is nude for one. Number two, things look very, very realistic. It doesn't look like a painting at all. So our next one is going to be St. George on horseback fighting a dragon. And if you said medieval, that is going to be correct. So this doesn't look realistic at all. We can see our background is one solid color. There's not a lot of 3D going on. It's very much a flat painting. So our next one is going to be a picture of Madonna. So anytime you see Madonna, that is going to be religious because Madonna is depicting Mary. So the baby that she is holding is going to be Jesus. Now this one is going to be medieval. So we can see for one, halos around their heads, solid color in the background, very much 2D, not much dimension going on here at all. And our last one is going to be Bacchus and Ariadne. And this is going to be Renaissance because we can see all the detail in the background. There's lots of movement. Even the clothes that are on them look like they're in the middle of moving. So great job. I hope that you are able to now be able to tell the difference between Renaissance art and medieval European art. If you're unsure, feel free to go back and watch this again. Thanks.